All right. We have talked consistently on this channel about how the Chargers have just become a professional organization with Harbaugh coming in, right? With Ortiz coming in. And these guys have just made good, smart, professional decisions that have put the Chargers in a position to absolutely succeed. And now they've got the guy, and I'm going to make it two guys that everybody else wants. And I'm going to tell you exactly why throughout this video. But before we do that, remember, my name's Craig. Me and my buddy Chris, we started this channel when that man got the job. We wanted to follow Harbaugh to the West Coast. We are Detroit Lions fans. We are Michigan Wolverines fans. Go blue. And what's cool is if it's Chargers, Lions, or Michigan, they're all blue. You know what I'm saying? Go blue. No, all right, it only is said for one of them, all right? The other one is go Lions. The other one's go Bolts. All right, I get it. All right, go Chargers, whatever you want to call it. So here's the deal. We started this channel because we wanted to give you a little more insight into what's going on from a different perspective, from somebody over here on this side of the country that can hopefully be a little more non-biased. But it's hard not to have consistent good news with the Chargers. And we're in a full off-season swing right now where, yeah, we got a little over 2 months till we open up training camp, all right? And by the way, how cool is it that the Chargers and Lions get the Hall of Fame game? So we get an extra week we get to start our preseason a week earlier than everybody else. We get to hear the news and the rumors and everything else. We get to see players at practice earlier than everybody else. It's fantastic. It really is. And there are a couple players on your roster that are such good positional value. And PFF came out with a couple of articles. Usually they spread these out, but they came out with two of them. It was the most underrated player on all 32 teams. All right, one underrated player for all 32 teams. And then they ranked the top 25 players in the NFL under 25. So we're going to highlight two players on your roster, and we're going to start with the most underrated. But first, I want you to guess who is the player on your roster that you think is the most underrated player on your roster. You can hit pause if you want. You can go type it in the comments, and then we'll go from there. And we're going to look at your roster by position. We're going to see if PFF got it right. But also, I'm going to give my opinion on it as well. And then I want you to guess also, who do you think is your player that made the top 25 under 25? I got to be honest. I was surprised only one made it. I think next year you could have 3 or 4 people make it on your team. All right, let's go ahead and look at this first. And your most underrated player is linebacker Daiyan Henley. And if you will remember, I don't know if Chris did a video on it. I don't know if we did it together, but I know I did a video on Daiyan Henley and how I thought he was the #1 breakout candidate for this team before the season started last year. And I was talking about this guy and how he's an athletic marvel, how he has skill to play well. He didn't get to play much under the previous coaching regime, but how he absolutely could be a guy that could end up playing a lot of snaps for this team. He ended up playing over 1,000 snaps. Absolutely insane. Because in this defensive system with Jesse Minter, it is linebacker friendly. Almost so friendly, and I know Junior Colson had, surgery before the season started. He really never got his wheels under him. So Daiyan Henley was like, thank you, I will take that. All right? And it says here, it wouldn't have been a surprise for the new coaching staff to lean on veteran Denzel Perryman or third-round pick Junior Colson. However, Henley seized that opportunity. Just crazy after what he did as a rookie. But here's why you got to love it. When you look at the linebacker room, and then we'll look at the lineup in general. This is a guy where there's not a lot of money being spent in your linebacker room, yet it is absolutely not a top 5 linebacker unit in the NFL, right? But it is an effective linebacker crew. Now, do you think Daiyan Henley was the most underrated player on this team? When we go out here and we look at this team, is he that single most underrated player? And I'm going to have to make the argument that, yeah, he is. right? Because otherwise it's players that get a good rap. Now, we all know, right? Terry still came in, played a great game, or not a great game, but a great season as a rookie. There's a lot of players who absolutely did a good job helping out this team, but they're not underrated. Rashawn Slater is not underrated. We know he's great. McConkey, we know how good he was as a rookie. Not underrated. Herbert, not underrated. Joe Alt, not underrated. Khalil Mack, not underrated. The other guys, Derwin James, like we know these guys are studs. We know they're stars. So it is one of those things on this roster of, all right, who's going to be the next one next year? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, someone that is definitely not underrated, but also is a good player. You had one player make the top 25 under 25. And I think more players could absolutely make that next year. But that one player for the Chargers is Ladd McConkey. All right, he had a 3-year PFF grade of 84.7. And here's kind of the thing that took me by surprise, if I'm being completely honest. And I talked about this actually in a Lions video that I just recorded. Ladd McConkey has rated above Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. led the regular season or all rookies in receiving yards. But McConkey led all rookies in yards per route run. And he ranked in the top 5 among all players at the position in 2024 as a rookie. That's amazing. So it's this kind of like, all right, we used to see people downgrade slot receivers just because they were in the slot a little bit. Now they get just as much love as they would if they're on the outside. So Ladd McConkey make it. When we look at the players above him, there are, I think, only maybe one wide receiver above him. Malik Neighbors at 15. Brock Bowers almost could count as a wide receiver. All right, Drake London ahead of him at 11. I would much rather have McConkey than Drake London. I'm just going to be completely honest. And I believe that is it. Yep, that is it for the wide receiver. Oh, no, Puka Nacua is there too. So you have 3 wide receivers that were rated ahead of him as far as top 25 under 25. Now, are there other wide receivers that you would rank ahead of Ladd McConkey when it comes to best receivers in the NFL? Of course, right? Like, of course. Yeah, you'd put St. Brown above him. Most likely. I hope you would, right? You would absolutely, yes, you'd put Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, right? Like there are these big name CeeDee Lamb, maybe A.J. Brown, right? There are these big name wide receivers that, yeah, you would put ahead of Ladd McConkey. But the fact is he's the 3rd best receiver under 25 in the NFL right now at a position where you waited until the 2nd round to pick him. And what I love most about these 2 players is you have them on rookie contracts. Both your most underrated player, who is a absolute starting caliber linebacker in the NFL, and then a probably arguably already top 10 receiver, but top 5 under 25 receiver in the NFL, both on rookie contracts. That is how you continue to build around Justin Herbert, is you have quality around him at a fraction of the cost because they're on rookie contracts or they're on value contracts. All right, hope you like this channel. Continue watch, continue to subscribe. Love your support. Thank you for the community that watches this. We want to be your go-to spot for Chargers content. We'll see you on the next one.